Muscle cars of the 1960s were a symbol of American automotive culture, combining powerful engines with an aggressive style. One of the most notable criteria for evaluating these cars was their ability to accelerate quickly, especially to 60 miles per hour, which was considered an important feature at the time. 1. Shelby Cobra 427, 1965 to 1967. Let's kick things off with the Shelby Cobra 427. Now, if you've ever seen a Cobra on the road, or even in a movie, you know it's not just a car, it's an experience. The 427 was built to thrill. You might think that a car with a 7.0-liter V8 engine and 485 horsepower sounds like something you'd only drive on a racetrack, but the truth is, this car was made for everyday driving, albeit with a little more adrenaline. If you ever get the chance to drive a Shelby Cobra, don't worry about numbers. Forget about 0 to 60 times or horsepower ratings. Just feel the machine. It's raw, it's untamed, and it will push you back into your seat the moment you step on the gas. What makes it unique isn't just the speed, but the way it handles. It's light, responsive, and perfectly built for those who love the connection between the car and the road. If you're ever in the market for a classic Cobra, make sure to check its authenticity. Original Cobras are rare and expensive, but replica models can also bring you that same thrill without breaking the bank. 2. Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, 1963 to 1967. Next up, the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, a car that redefined what it meant to be an American sports car. When the Stingray was unveiled in 1963, it was nothing short of a revolution. Sleek lines, a low profile, and a stance that screamed performance. Under the hood, the 427 V8 engine was a beast, ready to launch this car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds. Back then, this was insanely fast. Owning a Corvette, especially a classic like the 63 Stingray, is about much more than just speed. It's about turning heads and soaking in the envy of everyone around you. But here's a tip: if you're looking to get into the world of classic Corvettes, be prepared for maintenance costs. These cars are beautiful, but they're old, and keeping them running requires some dedication. That said, the Corvette community is incredibly passionate, and you'll find a network of enthusiasts ready to help with tips and advice. 3. Pontiac GTO, 1964 to 1967. The Pontiac GTO is often credited as the car that kicked off the muscle car craze. The name GTO stands for Gran Turismo Homologado, which, if we're being honest, makes it sound a lot fancier than it actually was. It was built for one purpose: speed. Under the hood was a 389 V8 engine with 325 horsepower, enough to send the car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.6 seconds. The GTO is a car that was built with the everyday driver in mind. It wasn't just about raw speed, but about delivering that power in a way that was manageable on the streets. That said, if you're looking to buy a GTO today, don't just focus on its speed or appearance. Make sure the car has been well maintained, especially the suspension and engine. They're often found in good condition, but make sure you check for rust and interior wear. If you're not sure what to look for, get a professional inspection. 4. Ford Mustang GT, 1965 to 1967. The Ford Mustang GT. This is where it all began for the pony car genre. When Ford introduced the Mustang in 1964, it was revolutionary. Not just because it was fast, it was affordable too. The Mustang GT, with its 289 V8 engine, gave you muscle car performance without the sky-high price tag. It could easily hit 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds and was the car that made every teenager's heart race. If you've ever owned a Mustang, you know there's a certain magic about it. The roar of that V8, the smooth handling, and of course, that iconic look. But let's be real, Mustangs of this era are classic cars that require a little TLC. The good news: parts are still widely available, and the Mustang community is one of the most dedicated out there. Get yourself a classic Mustang, and you're joining a family of enthusiasts who are always happy to help. 5. Dodge Charger R/T, 1966 to 1967. The Dodge Charger R/T was built for one thing: intimidation. With its bold styling, aggressive front grille, and massive 426 Hemi V8 engine, this car wasn't just fast, it was the muscle car equivalent of a powerhouse. With 425 horsepower and the ability to launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6 seconds, the Charger R/T could easily outpace nearly anything else on the road. Driving a Charger R/T is not for the faint of heart. It's a big car, and it demands respect. The sheer power of the Hemi V8 means that you need to be comfortable handling that kind of strength. It's not just about speed, it's about control. If you're looking to buy one today, make sure you find a model with a solid frame and a well-preserved engine. And remember, a true muscle car is only as good as the care it's received over the years. 6. Chevrolet Camaro Z/28, 1967. The Chevrolet Camaro Z/28 was born to compete with the Mustang, and boy, did it deliver. With its high-revving 302 V8 engine and a focus on handling, the Z/28 was a true driver's car. It wasn't the fastest car on the list, but it made up for it with agility and balance. This car could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.5 seconds, and it was built to tackle corners like no other muscle car of its time. If you're considering buying a Camaro Z/28, pay attention to the suspension and brakes. These cars were designed for aggressive cornering, and the handling is one of its main appeals. Modern upgrades are often available, but many purists prefer to keep things original. Also, be on the lookout for rust, especially on the undercarriage. A clean, rust-free Camaro will always hold its value better. 7. Mercury Cougar XR7, 1967. The Mercury Cougar XR7 was designed to be a more luxurious version of the Mustang, offering a smoother, more refined ride while still packing a punch under the hood. With its 390 cubic inch V8 and 335 horsepower, the Cougar was able to accelerate to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds. But it wasn't just about performance, it was about elegance, comfort, and that touch of luxury. When buying a Cougar XR7, focus on finding a model with an original interior. Many of these cars have had their luxurious touches swapped out over the years. Look for well-preserved leather seats, original gauges, and that classic wood-rimmed steering wheel. With its combination of luxury and power, the Cougar is perfect for someone who loves muscle but doesn't want to sacrifice comfort. 8. Buick GS 400, 1965 to 1967. The Buick GS 400 was the kind of car that surprised people. With its refined design and smooth ride, you wouldn't expect it to be a serious muscle car until you stepped on the gas. Powered by a 6.6-liter V8 with 325 horsepower, the GS 400 could hit 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds, proving that luxury and muscle weren't mutually exclusive. The Buick GS 400 is a car that benefits from careful maintenance. These cars were built for long, comfortable rides, so make sure the suspension and engine are in good shape before making a purchase. If you want a classic car that turns heads without the constant roar of other muscle cars, the GS 400 is a refined, powerful choice. 9. Oldsmobile 442, 1964 to 1967. The Oldsmobile 442 was a car that was built to compete with the big names like the GTO and Mustang, and it did so with style. With its 6.6-liter V8 engine producing 350 horsepower, the 442 was capable of impressive acceleration. It could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6.5 seconds, not the fastest on the list, but still very impressive for a car of its time. When buying an Oldsmobile 442, focus on the car's history. Many of these cars were built for performance, but they might not have been taken care of over the years. Find one with a good maintenance record, and don't skimp on a pre-purchase inspection. You'll want to make sure the engine is healthy, as rebuilding these engines can be costly. 10. Plymouth Roadrunner, 1968. Finally, we come to the Plymouth Roadrunner, a car that was designed with one thing in mind: to be fast. With its 426 Hemi V8 engine and 425 horsepower, the Roadrunner was the muscle car for the masses. It could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 5 seconds, making it one of the fastest cars of its time. The Roadrunner's loud personality is matched only by its legendary performance. If you want to own one, don't expect a quiet, smooth ride. This is a car that demands attention. The good news: you can find Roadrunners at various price points, depending on their condition and originality. A well-restored example will not only provide incredible driving pleasure, but it will also be a true collector's piece for years to come. Conclusion: these 10 cars aren't just numbers on a spec sheet. They're pieces of automotive history, representing a time when speed, style, and raw power ruled the road. Whether you're looking to buy a classic muscle car today, or you simply appreciate the legacy these vehicles left behind, one thing is clear: the 1960s were a golden era for muscle cars, and their impact is still felt in the cars we drive today. So, next time you're behind the wheel of one of these machines, or if you're just lucky enough to hear one rev, remember, you're not just driving a car, you're driving history.